What is up, my lovely little friends? I think it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It is about 10:30 Central Time. Today, I've got to get some scheduling done. I've got to catch up on some readings and so on. And so if you are owed a reading, I will get it done today or over the next couple of days, basically. I've set aside time to catch up on everything where I took off to spend time with my son and my daughter-in-law. So we're going to listen to some awesome, I think we're going to do cyberpunk music this morning because why not? Also, y'all have tank top Bobbie today because my air conditioning is not working very well upstairs. It's only 10:30 and it's 77 degrees up here. I was trying to get a bunch of stuff done last night and it was 87 degrees up here at 9 o'clock and I was done. I gave up. I was done. Like, not doing that. So anyway, cyberpunk music it is. But I've got to get some stuff done and scheduled for like upcoming things first. So we're going to do that and I'll answer some questions. We'll do some chit chat thingies and y'all can just hang out. It's going to be great. And then I will catch up on some reads. So y'all get all the AI this morning. All of the AI this morning. Not the AI. ASMR. What am I saying AI for? My brain is not braining. So that means I should take some ibuprofen. The weather. Okay. For those of you guys that live up north and you come down south, especially in the Midwest, I'm really starting to think that either it is the pressure or it is allergies and hay fever because I spent a week and a half, almost 2 weeks in Pennsylvania. Felt great. Came home, constant headache. This is bullshit. That's bullshit. 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 So, we're just going to take some ibuprofen. I feel like I live on ibuprofen and Excedrin migraine when I'm home. Is it just me? Oh, good, Ginger. Did it make sense to you then? The other ones are uploading. So, okay, so I don't feel as bad that y'all are in the same boat as I am. I'm in the middle of uploading the rest of the 7/7 shamanic petitions. I hate that they take so damn long. I did them in sets of 3. So I thought it would be easier to upload. Nah. So yeah. But, for those of you guys that are here hanging out listening, y'all are going to get the lowdown on some things. So if you guys have been following me for any length of time, then you know that when I opened, when I expanded my shop 2023 in the fall, I guess, when I expanded that, I did a witch's wall. And on the new place, I'm pretty sure that I have we have an ancestor wall placement. And then we also have a pet legacy placement. So those two are on there. So let's see here. I am going to fix this. There we go. So when I go back up this next week, etc., I will be doing the wall. I will be doing, let's see here. I'll be doing the Ancestor Legacy Wall and the Pet Legacy Wall. I'm changing some things on these. There we go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Oh, I put way too many 4s. Way too many 4s. That says 444, and that would be incorrect. That would be incorrect. So let me fix that. So for those of you guys that don't know, I just bought a humongous church. I just bought a humongous church. All right, there we go. So the ancestor wall placement and the pet legacy, those are okay. Those are correct. All right. Okay. All right, those are okay. And then this. For those of you guys that have already purchased doing the adopt a grave for the cemetery that I bought, I'm gonna reach out to you because I'm changing a couple of things and I need to know. I'm gonna give you some options. Those of you guys that purchased to begin with, I'm gonna give you guys some options, just so you know. We found out that the graves, some of them are they're way worse off than we thought they were. So I may, when it gets a little cooler, and so were there words. Let me start over. Words. We're going to have like everybody come out and hang out and let's like work on the cemetery cleanup day and a big event in September. Not this weekend, but next weekend, there is an overnight investigation. You guys can come and hang out. You can come and watch just live, or you can actually come to the church and investigate if you're in the area. But let's see how. There we go. Why there's some people on there twice. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so let's see. Okay. On the 20th, I will be doing candle workings in the church. I can't wait for that. I am not gonna lie. I can't wait for that. Like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Some of you guys are already on that list. So if I owed you a candle working, you are on the list to be at the first candle workings at the church. All right, there we go. So one of the things that I have absolutely loved about this church that I purchased is that hold on here. The cemetery itself is really, really old. The cemetery itself is 11 years shy of being 200 years old. 200 years old. It was started in 1836. And in the back of it is a spruce tree that is over 300 feet tall. And if you guys do not know how evergreen trees grow, they grow really fast their first like 10 years of life. Like they go boop and they sprout up. They can grow up to like 3 feet a year. And after that, they start to slow down, just like a kid, right? So a kid grows really fast and then it kind of starts to slow down. So for a spruce tree to be that tall, this tree has to be well over 300 years old. Like it is a very crazy, insane tall tree. Thank you, Bobbie. And it is my favorite tree on the property. I love this tree, right? I was out talking to it and it's just massive. There are also a couple of other trees on the property that were planted in the cemetery that have gotten humongous because they were left to grow unfettered, right? So I am not going to cut these trees down. Like there's, if anything happens to that spruce tree, like I will cry. But the other trees that are there have been there long enough now that I can't cut them down. So I also know that when everybody finds where this church is that I own now, and it starts being open to the public, it is actually open to the public now if you guys want to book a paranormal investigation and come investigate while we are renovating. It is super active. But that being said, I know that there are going to be people that want to come and they want to leave something in the cemetery. They want to leave an offering, etc. So I am going to have a couple of places outside where you guys can leave items as an offering, as a thank you, whatever. Because this is a cemetery. And even though I own this cemetery now, it does not mean that it is any less respected than any other cemetery. It's still a cemetery. There are still people that have passed away that lay there. And I know that unfortunately there are some people that are unscrupulous and there are some people that they just leave things wherever. So I want to make sure that there are a couple of places where you guys can leave items, offerings, etc. Outside. So like if you come and it's not open inside, you can leave something outside. I also want to have something where you guys feel, because I know a lot of you guys, why? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I know a lot of you guys have followed me for a long time and you trust me and so on. So I also want to have a place that is kind of like hallowed ground for you to come and sit, be. Does that make sense? So with the spruce tree and with there's another very large tree in the graveyard. There's a couple of smaller ones, but there's another very large one. I am going to create the 18th through the 20th, I will be doing remembrance ribbons. So we will go out and tie ribbons on the trees because I thought what better way to A, appreciate the trees, B, let you guys honor ancestors that maybe you don't get to go and visit their graves or where they're at, or maybe they don't have a grave that you can go visit. And what better way to make this place beautiful? Does that make sense? Like we've been doing a lot of work. And when we got up there and started really looking at the headstones and so on, so the church that's there has not been a church since the 60s. So no one has, thank you, Ms. Joy. No one has actively been in the building for more than a couple of years. I mean, it was a Lutheran church. It was, an immigrant church. It was all kinds of different things. And it's had different church groups in there throughout the years, but it has been solidly empty for 5 years. But it has not been the Lutheran church since the 60s. So there has not really been a solid caretaker of that graveyard in a long time. And what sucks about that is there's a lot of headstones that are broken. They are missing. They're gone. There are a lot of damaged graves. There are a lot of graves that the headstones are about to fall over that we're going to have to shore up and fix. There's a lot of things like that. And so even though it is really, really beautiful, there are lilies everywhere, and that will be a thing later on, just wait. But there are lilies everywhere. I want the people buried there to feel like they're still appreciated. Does that make sense? Will people overseas? Absolutely. I am creating a ticket now. And I'm going to make these really cheap, like just enough to kind of cover because I got to go buy a bunch of ribbon for this, because the last time I did this, I did it at a place in Louisiana, and it was a lot. It was a lot. So I got to go buy some ribbon. I want this place to be hallowed ground for everybody, not just the people whose ancestors live there. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So you know what? I'm going to do 555 because I bought the church on a 5-day. So we're going to do 555. My brain hurts this morning. Good morning, Donna. How's Donna? No, I am going to be moving to Pennsylvania. What's up, Block Mamba? A lot. Usually I buy like 20 of the little ribbon things in all colors. How are you? What's up, Vladdy Patty? Yeah, they all love you too, but you can't come up here right now. This playlist is called Scorpion Dark Cyber Techno Music, Cyber Punk Dark Techno Mortal Kombat Background Music. It's a lot. It's a lot. Aw, I miss your face too. I miss your face too. Don't you love that when you go to scratch your nose and you scratch your glasses on accident? Isn't that fun? Why PA? I fell in love with the land up there. Pennsylvania reminds me of my favorite places. So it reminds me of a mix of Colorado, the part of Oklahoma I live in, Arkansas, and Missouri, but it's a little cooler temperature-wise. And that made me happy because this heat is dumb. What's up, Tabitha? Yeah, this heat is dumb. If y'all have never lived in the Midwest or in the South in the summer, it's absolutely dumb. No, you didn't miss it, baby doll. They are uploading right now. They're taking forever. The girls are sending them as they upload. I did them in groups of 3, so it was easier to get them out to you guys. Yeah, the church I bought is about 45 minutes to an hour north of Pittsburgh. It is 30 minutes from the Ohio line. So, yeah. Good, Midnight. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, if you guys want to come up on the 19th, so not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, there's an in-person investigation. You guys can come up. There will be food. We'll have a little fire pit. You can investigate the cemetery. You can investigate the entire building before we start renovations. And I'm going to let you know, like, it's very active. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I need to start posting some of the videos It's insane. It's insane. I will say that if you have never been to a paranormal location where you have gotten touched, and I'm just going to say touched, it's not like grabbed. It's not anything like that. It's like if you were to reach out like in a dream state and like, are you real? Like, it's like that kind of touch, like somebody just poking you, like, are you real? Like that. Every single person that has come to the church has gotten touched. Every single one. And while you're investigating, it's so crazy. You can feel people walk up behind you. You got shoved at Gettysburg. Oh my God. See, I don't mind being touched. My hair is standing up. I don't mind being touched, but I don't want to be scratched or shoved. Like I said that, like, you're not allowed to do that. You can touch me. Like, you can poke me if you want to see, you know, like, are you real? Like, yeah. But it's, yeah. All right. When is it at its fullest peak? Just look up where you are, what time zone you're in, and when the full moon peaks tomorrow. You can look that up on Google. I know Eastern time, it's like 4:37, 3:37 Central, so 2:37 Mountain, and 1:37 Pacific. So, all right, so the Cemetery Remembrance ribbons are up. The candle work for the 20th is up. Let me fix this. Okay. There are also tickets up for the fall equinox. We're doing a weekend of paranormal event at the church on the fall equinox. This is like an in-person overnight stay at the church. There are camp spots available if you guys like to tent camp. This will include like food, etc., etc. So, if you guys want to come and do some paranormal stuff at the new building, I am opening that up this time to do that. All right, yeah. So we got all those things done. Okay. Those of you guys that had portal readings for yesterday, they are going to be sent to you via video because I did them on the 7th. So it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. Aw, thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate that. That was very sweet of you. That was very sweet of you. So I'm going to start with the Cards and Energy event. It is already getting hot as fuck up here. So fun. So I'm going to start with that and get those done. And then we're going to do the What Do You Need to Know and get those done. Linda. Don't be Linda Ing. Don't be Linda Ing. All right, Tabitha, have a good day. So we're gonna start with energy reads first, and then do card reads. And yes, this will be uploaded to YouTube later. Ooh, I didn't mean to shove you guys. Oh, before I start reading, look at, they light up. I don't know if I can find her little thing. Oh, you can't even see her. She needs a new battery. But she lights up. He lights up. I'm just letting you know that I have a problem. I bought so many dolls. I have so many creepy dolls. For those of you guys coming to Gettysburg, or if you're considering coming to Gettysburg, I have a ton of dolls and other goodies. I'm not going to let you guys know right now, but next weekend I have something really, really cool that will be up on the shop. By the way, the Rich Witch stuff is back up on the shop. I forgot I had this bracelet, and now I remember why I don't wear it very much. Those are a little too long for me, so I need to shorten them up. But this is a snake vertebrae bracelet that Sass got me, and I love it. All right. Shannon White is first. Shannon, have you ever looked at a gobstopper or a big jawbreaker that a kid has just like sucked one side of the candy off, and so you can see all the layers? You're like white, and then Barbie pink, and then magenta, and then red, and then white again. It's interesting. The layer of the white on the outside is really thin, and the layer in the middle it's interesting, like, and you're very, very compact. So the way that those are all structured, it tells me that you're very, very analytical, just brain wise. You overthink everything. You make 900 plans for everything. Like you need a list to make a list to make a list. Like I appreciate the way your brain works. Let me say that. I am not making fun of it. I absolutely appreciate the way your brain works. So you started your journey with learning something. You had a really, really intense experience, which is what that white in the middle is. You had a very intense, I want to say horrific experience. So something shoved you head over heels into your spiritual awakening. And you started off trying to learn everything you could. Then that Barbie pink, you went to the love and light, like, let me just put good out into the universe and let me do, all of the good things. Let me learn all the good things. And then that magenta, though, that's kind of your natural energy state. Magenta is this gorgeous peacemaker, but I will throat punch you if you step out of line color. Magenta is also very passionate about just everything. So you don't do things half-ass. You do everything full force, run, run headlong into it. The red started to develop, and the red is getting pretty big. The red has good and it's bad. And I want to talk about the bad first, because unfortunately I have seen this happen way too much over the last five years on TikTok, is that I see people that get into spirituality because of whatever reason, and they find great people on social media to learn from, and then they also find people that take advantage of them, that are horrendous, like, etc. And so that ends up building that red color that you have. So people have pissed you off with it, and people have also incited passion, and gotten you into other things where you never ever thought you'd go down that rabbit hole. So my advice with the red, because that is the biggest part of this, is just to be careful that you don't burn out, because you can get a hold of way too many people that are just shitty people, and they're con artists. They don't know anything about spirituality. They're only on here to be famous or to make money or whatever, off of other people. So don't let those people be the ones that you judge everybody in the spiritual community off of, because it's more obvious in the spiritual community and the religious community as a whole. And I'm lumping every religion into that because you guys all have seen it just like I have with every single religion. But it's like that in every facet of business, whether it's technology, whether it's contracting, whatever. You guys all know people in every single industry that are very, very reputable and they're good companies to work with. And then you all know people that are like, nope, absolutely not, stay away from them. That's the same is true in the spiritual community. So don't let that warp and twist your view of spirituality, because I feel like that anger picks up a lot with things. So don't let that be the end all be all. Okay. I love that the white is the on the outside again, just like it is in the middle, because that tells me that you have discovered some fresh new avenue, path that you're just dying to learn about, but you don't. I think that it's something not really talked about very much, and so therefore you aren't really sure what it is that you want to do or how to go about it. My advice is going to be to really take some time off of TikTok and try YouTube first. YouTube has a much wider variety of in-depth videos about things. I'm going to advise you to look at a channel called Esoterica. And this gentleman has a doctorate in theology and religious studies, and he has a lot of very in-depth videos about a lot of ancient magics, because I feel like that's probably what you're wanting to learn about, if that makes sense. So I love the colors that pulled up there, Shannon. Don't let some of these con artisty people get you upset or messed up or whatever, okay? It's funny because I did a video about that early this morning and I haven't put it out yet for reasons. All right, Jasmin S. You're like big swatch of like turquoise and then grass green and then like kind of a darker sky blue, not quite to cobalt, but kind of a darker sky blue. Because that was just wide swatches like that, be careful how open you are with people that don't deserve it, okay? That turquoise tells me, A, you have done a lot of healing in your life, but B, you are a natural healer as well. That gorgeous turquoise color, if you have not started learning about different healing modalities, whether it's energy healing or pranic healing or yoga or whatever it is, if you have not started down that road yet, Jasmin, I am going to recommend that you do so, because you have a natural capacity for it. Plus, you are looking for ways to heal yourself as well. And being a natural healer, you're going to be able to do that better if you're learning about it, if that makes sense. Like, just going to therapy is going to help you, but it's not going to help you as much as you learning about the therapy, if that makes sense. Some people learn to heal and heal to learn. So just saying. The green is really interesting. That's this grass green. This is funny because I know when I say this, you're going to be like, wait, what? You're in a really lucky phase in your life right now. That grass green energy is new growth. It's new beginnings. This is a time where you need to be making big decisions for your future, for yourself, etc. Don't think small anymore. Don't think about, well, if I do this, I can get a quarter raise next year. Like, don't think small anymore. You need to be making decisions that allow you to become way more free than you are right now. I feel like right now you feel trapped and stuck in some weird little rectangular box that you can run from one end to the other, and that's about it. The box is invisible. I think that you don't realize that the box is so invisible. You literally can just walk out the side of it. People tell you that you have to be in the box, but you don't. This bright, beautiful grass green is a color I would surround yourself with right now, because it is going to be motivating for you. Just like when we see the first flowers pop up in spring and we're like, oh my God, winter's finally over. Like that kind of excitement is what this color incites. It is also a very analytical color. So pay attention to all of the things that you catch your brain randomly thinking about. Those are the things that will help you decide what decisions you need to make for you. The blue is really interesting because it's not quite sky blue. It's not quite cobalt blue, but it's not what you would just call blue. It's like a little bit more of a neon-y blue. This is a very, very detailed color of inner peace. Blue is interesting because blue is loyalty and calm and peace and protection, but blue is also ice and cold and logic. So I love that this is more of like the neon blue color, and I love that it is I love that it's over the top of these other colors. Be very protective of your luck. Be very protective of your healing and your energy and who you give those to freely. Be very protective of your path and where you're going. Just be protective, but pay attention to your inner peace as well. One of the things that kills me with the spiritual community is that people think inner peace looks like sitting and meditating, on top of a mountain, or they think that it looks like giving away all your worldly possessions and moving to India or whatever. They think that it looks like that when it doesn't. Inner peace can be the time that you're laying in bed and you get your brain to shut the fuck up all the way and you just are laying there chilling out. Inner peace can be the best hamburger you've ever eaten, like things like that. Does that make sense? Inner peace looks different for everybody. And if you learn how to find your inner peace on a daily basis, it's much harder for people to take that away from you. Just saying. All right. Bobbie H is next. My nose is itching. Somebody's talking about me. Of course they are. Happens a lot. What's up, Karen? How are you? Good morning, Bobbie. I mean, it's still morning where I am. So good morning from where I am. So you're like blue, and then you have purple and green, and they do this. They do that, like the green and purple switch constantly. So I was like, all right, which color am I talking about first? And then underneath you have this little line of white. I want to talk about the green and the purple switching back and forth like this. First, because they keep switching, my question would be, do you have some kind of chronic illness that's flaring up right now? Because you're trying to walk down a path of, purple is royalty, it's spirituality, it is changing for the better, it's like all of those things, okay? Having a chronic illness that is flaring up sucks, and I'm sorry, because it's messing with this purple aspect here, because this is like a really intense forest green, which usually signifies that you're really focused on healing, on your own health, on moving forward, etc. Also, my question is going to be too, What's up with the brain fog, with the confusion lately? Is that part of the chronic illness that you have? Because as I'm trying to focus on that, it's like my brain gets pulled 900 ways, and not just my normal brain getting pulled 500 ways. It is literally like everywhere. I'm kind of also watching for Bobbie to pop up. But let's talk about the purple, because the purple is this gorgeous, deep, dark. You started having seizures. Okay. I got hair on my eyelash. So let's talk about that for a minute, because that explains those two going back and forth 100%. So have you been falling down the rabbit hole of learning about seizures? You totaled your car last November. Okay. Have you been, so it's from a brain injury then? I know that when I got diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy, I fell down the rabbit hole of learning about seizures, about the different types, about all of those things. And it opened my eyes to a lot in the world around me. So the purple tells me that you have been starting to do that. I would highly advise looking at it, especially if they have diagnosed you with a specific type of seizure, not epilepsy or whatever, but of seizure, if they have diagnosed you with a specific type. A lot of cultures, in fact, most cultures in the world still believe that people with epilepsy see into other dimensions, into other timelines, into things like that. And I totally fell down that rabbit hole. I found it extremely interesting to learn how other people, other cultures, other practices view people with seizures and epilepsy. Everyone that was an oracle in Greek and Roman times, around the Mediterranean, in ancient Egypt, etc., and a lot of other cultures, they were taken to the temple if they showed signs of epilepsy or seizures as a kid. They were taken to the temple and trained to be an oracle. They were like, wars were fought over them. But that totally explains the purple and the green. That totally explains that. So that also explains the blue on the top, because the blue on the top goes like this. And it's a really deep, like velvety, like it even has a feel to it, like a deep velvety crushed blue color. I don't know how to explain it. Like those gorgeous curtains you see in an expensive hotel lobby or something. But I would not be surprised to know if you have anxiety about protecting people around you, because that color of blue and the way that it is over all of these other colors, that is a color of a protector, which tells me that you have always been the protector of everybody around you, which comes with its own dose of high anxiety. People that are in a protector stance have a lot of anxiety, because how can you protect against stuff if you don't worry about stuff, if that makes sense. That gorgeous velvety color, though, people feel that and they are going to be drawn to that. I would bet that you have always had people that have been drawn to you for you to protect them or whatever. They think that you afford that protection to everybody. They think that you, by just being your friend or being in your vicinity, you're going to give everybody that protection. I feel like you have kind of started to learn your lesson with protecting everybody, but be very careful of new people trying to come in to grab that kind of protection from you. They need to earn that. That is one thing, as somebody that wants to protect all of their people. I've had to learn the hard way that you cannot protect everybody. So not only can you not protect everybody, but you shouldn't try to protect everybody. Kids are one thing. Kids are one thing. But not everybody deserves your protection. They need to earn that. And if they have continually showed you that they don't deserve it, then they didn't earn it. And I know it's really, really hard. It is really, 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 really hard, especially when you care about that person. And the colors that you have, and with that white underneath, white is purification. It's a connection to the divine. It's also learning. And that it's a weird little shape. It's like it goes straight down and has like a little bump in it. I think that you're starting to learn more and more and more about Bobbie, about yourself, about who you are, and knowing that you're having seizures that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'll do your card reading real quick since I know you're here, and that way if you need to take off, you can. When I got diagnosed with epilepsy, with temporal lobe epilepsy, thank you, Miss Katrina, it opened my eyes to a lot. For those of you guys that don't know how a seizure works, a seizure is a short circuit in your brain. So let's say that, like with me, I can speak for myself. I have temporal lobe epilepsy. It starts over here on the left side of my brain, and your temporal lobes are like right here, okay? So it starts here, and it's like every bit of that temporal lobe suddenly is electrified. In other words, that part of your brain is now completely 0 to 1 million, and it's running every marathon it could ever run. That goes like this over to other parts of your brain. So if you can imagine a time in your life where you did so much physical stuff that you were exhausted, like you ran a marathon, you played a crazy football game, whatever, something physical that you did, that afterwards you just wanted to lay there in the grass and breathe for like 30 minutes. Imagine feeling like that, but times 10. But times 10. Times 10. And only in your brain. If you have any kind of seizure that is they're called a whole bunch of different things. Grand mal, tonic-clonic, drop seizures. If you have those kind of seizures where you have any kind of physical reaction to them, your muscles can hurt like you have been hit by a truck. And they will hurt. That's exactly what you feel, and you get a horrible, in the side of your head. Your muscles hurt like you have been in a truck accident. Like it's insane. It's insane. And you can't explain that to anybody unless they understand how seizures are and how they work. So if you have been diagnosed with any type of seizure, thank you, Miss Katrina. If you have somebody you love that has seizures, learn about them. Learn about them. Sometimes having focal seizures and stuff like that, which is one of the main hallmarks of temporal lobe epilepsy. I don't even know that I've had a seizure. Sometimes I can have a seizure that lasts 5 or 10 seconds while I'm on a live stream and you guys don't know. But I haven't had a big one since early 2020. And the only reason I knew I was having one is I got really dizzy, and then all of a sudden I was like, I am really tired, and I slept for like 12 hours straight. Started in the middle of the afternoon, slept for 12 hours straight. It wears your brain and your body out like you have been traversing universes. You go to the neurologist in October, they can't get you in any earlier than that. That's insane. See, Sarah understands you have to rest for 2 days. Yeah. I'm so sorry. What's up, Mike? I don't understand that. Like, that's insane that they can't get you until then. That's insane. I don't understand why it takes so long to get into a specialist. I don't. It took me forever to find an epilepsy specialist and then to get into them. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And now it's going to be harder to have specialists. But that's a whole other shebang. It's a whole other shebang. So let's do your card reading real quick, Bobbie. So that way, yeah. So you had one on the 26th and your husband called 911 and the ambulance took you to the hospital. And they didn't have anybody come and talk to you then? Aw. I love that Professor X quote. It's crazy when you refer. I've heard that too. I've had a couple of doctor friends like, you have no idea. We can refer, and yeah. Our health system is so broken. It's so broken. So broken. I mean, I saw a video the other day while I'm drawing your cards. Yesterday, not the other day, but yesterday. That somebody said, what is the worst hospital experience that you had? And my worst hospital experience that I've ever had was, and I ended up having to have this same emergency room doctor twice. I had a mini stroke in 2021 in December, and was rushed to the hospital in Oklahoma City. And they were great. They were great there. About 2 weeks later, I had to go to the emergency room in Tulsa. And I go to the same hospital because my cardiologist is there, my neurologist is there, my doctor that's associated with that hospital. You know, all my records are in one place. I think that's going to be easier, right? No. So I go in, I'm actively having another mini stroke. The CAT scan showed it, actively having one. They got me in, got the CAT scan, and then sat me back out in the waiting room. And I mean, I'm shaking, I'm like, whatever. First, the nurse argued with me that nothing was wrong with me. And even in my chart, it shows that I have epilepsy. She argued with me that I did not have epilepsy because what was going on with me didn't look like her seizures. Until the other nurse just took over and went and got a shot of something, Ativan, I think, and gave it to me so that way it calmed down what was going on. So then I get taken back, and this doctor tells me, without looking at my CAT scan, he's holding my papers right there, without looking at my CAT scan, he tells me that I need to go home and go to therapy because it's anxiety. Shit you not. So I think, okay, well, maybe I am really having a panic attack because, you know, I did just have a mini stroke, you know, like I did just have that. So maybe this is anxiety, right? So I really think it's anxiety. So I go home and I have 2 more of these fucking events within like a 2-week span. And I'm sitting there and I'm just doing those breathing exercises and I'm calming down. I got to the point where I couldn't stay by myself because I was so scared I wasn't going to wake up. Or I couldn't call for help or whatever. So I had somebody that stayed with me all the time. So I finally get into my neurologist, and the very first page he pulls up and he's like, oh, you had a mini stroke. And I'm like, yeah, in early December. He's like, no, on Christmas Eve. And I'm like, excuse you, what? He was like, yeah, I see the report from Oklahoma City. He's like, but this is the new report from Christmas Eve, because I was in on Christmas Eve. And it's highlighted. Active TIA going on. I'm like, wow. He's like, what did they do? And he's looking through the page. He's like, what did they do? And I said, the guy told me I had anxiety and to go home. And his jaw almost hit the desk. And he said, what? I said, yeah, he told me I had anxiety. And the nurse in the emergency room argued with me that I didn't have epilepsy. He walked out. He said, excuse me. He walked out of our appointment and went and called the administration of the hospital. And then I kid you not, That following summer, this was all in December of 2021, that following summer, in June, I had to go back to the emergency room because I had the same exact thing. The same exact thing, except I was having, for those of you guys that have epilepsy, you understand, you get these shakes and you can't stop them. No matter what you do, you can't stop them. So you have like these weird little shakes. It's not a full seizure. I don't know how to explain it, but it's annoying. It's annoying. So I'm sitting in the emergency room and they get me back. The same fucking doctor comes in. I am sitting on the side of the hospital bed because as soon as I saw him, I already knew what was going to happen. He had them come in and move the bed out of my room, sat me in a chair, and then got down on his little knees in front of me and patted my leg and told me that I needed to go home and think about going to therapy because I had severe anxiety. And then said, but really and seriously think about it because therapy is hard. So told me to go to therapy, even though I was actively having an issue. And then told me, but therapy is hard and I should think about it. That is healthcare for women in Oklahoma. However, when I told my neurologist about this, that doctor is no longer employed with that hospital. Because he was really pissed. And I'm really thankful that I have a neurologist. Even though it took forever to get into that neurologist, I'm really, really thankful that my neurologist is fantastic. That he is fantastic. Everyone in his office is fantastic. He is a fantastic doctor. But that, yeah. So this is why a lot of times women especially will go home and not go to the hospital. Because like there's been a lot of times when I probably should have gone to the emergency room for something. And I'm like, no, I don't want to because I already know what's going to happen. You had that happen in Sapulpa. Yeah. I had a doctor in Sapulpa just tell me to go home and rest, that my sugar was a little high. And I should just have it checked. That's all he said. That's all he said. So I go to the doctor 2 days later. This was 2014. I go to the doctor 2 days later. My doctor's jaw was like, did they not tell you what your sugar was? I was like, no, my fasting blood sugar was 836. Like, she's like, you're lucky you woke up this morning. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Shadow Dog. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So, Athena, I understand what you mean about the Sapulpa Hospital. I do. I totally understand. There is one doctor there that I've had to deal with a couple times with my kid, my ex-husband, and stuff like that. Probably like mid 40s. He's Asian. He's fantastic. He's on his shit. He's fantastic. The older guy with the glasses, though, he's probably, well, then he was probably in his 50s, so he's probably retired now. But yeah, he was a yeah. Oh my God, Brandy, that sounds exactly like some, yeah. I believe it, and that's what sucks. That's what sucks. Are you sure? Yeah, I had an ovarian cyst the size like this big that ruptured. And if you guys, I can't explain that pain to you, but I'm a redhead. I know it doesn't look like it. I'm a natural redhead, and we have a really high pain tolerance. And so I'm like bent over. I think I have a kidney stone, right? Like I think I have a kidney stone. Like I think that's what's going on. They made fun of me. They told me that there's no way I would even be walking if I had a kidney stone and blah, blah, blah. They put me in an office instead of a waiting room, like things like that. They were super hateful and mean to me. And then after the CAT scan, the actual doctor came in and he started off with, I want to apologize to you. He was like, immediately was like, get her, some morphine. I'm allergic to morphine. I'm like, please don't give me that. Like, please don't give me that. Like just some Tylenol, like give me some fucking Tylenol. And he was like, you have an ovarian cyst and it ruptured. And I was like, oh, okay. And he starts telling me like millimeters and centimeters. And I'm like, inches, or like, are we talking like marble size or pea size? Cause that's what I think. And he's like, no, it's bigger than a golf ball. And then they were really nice to me after that. But I never saw the other nurse practitioner that was making fun of me. I don't understand. I don't understand. So for all of you guys that have had experiences like that, it's utter bullshit, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's not my fault, and I know that me saying I'm sorry is not gonna fix it, but I see you. Let me say that. I see you. I've been there. I see you. And as somebody that has a daughter, I'm really seriously worried about it. And I appreciate that. I see a lot of you guys that are like, I work in healthcare. Thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate that. Like, it's infuriating. I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. Whoa, that PCOS isn't real. I agree, Junebug. Oh my God, Judy. And see, it makes me really sad that we all have horror stories like that. That you think would never, ever happen. Yeah. Oh, I understand, Chrissy. That would be so hard, yeah. That would be so hard. Yeah, I feel like everyone in this live has been through something horrific like that. And it does. It fucks you up, and it makes you think like, well, I'm not going to get help here, so why would I even go? Yeah. Yeah, why would I even go? Yeah. I get it. Yeah, you end up driving really far just to go to the right place. I totally get it. B, because I know. I've seen it, and I don't understand it. I see it a lot with Native American women in Oklahoma. A lot. And they have, the Indian hospitals and Indian healthcare. But I see it a lot here where they're dismissed. And it infuriates me like my hair is standing up. It infuriates me. Just as a woman, it shouldn't matter what fucking color you are. It shouldn't matter what color you are. It shouldn't matter. But unfortunately, we all know that. We all know. Just as a woman, our healthcare is way worse. I've seen it with the Latinas, yeah. It is. It's a huge problem. It's a huge, huge problem. Yeah, it's a huge, huge problem. Like it, and I don't understand it because I wasn't raised that way. You know what I mean? And not that makes it right, but let me explain. I can't wrap my brain around not liking someone or not helping someone in pain or in distress because of their gender or their race. That hurts my brain to try and figure out the logic that would be okay. My son is married to a girl from Ecuador. And I am thankful that they don't live in Oklahoma anymore. I'm thankful that they don't live in Oklahoma anymore. I was trying to explain to my daughter, my youngest, what a sundown town is. And I had a hard time explaining to her because she was like, I don't understand, why would people do that? Me either. But I grew up in Oklahoma, and like we learned about the race riots in school, like boop, like that much, even though they happened right here. Boop. You know what I mean? That much. And so I'm so glad that now they teach it more. For those of you guys that don't know, Tulsa had an amazing, vibrant area that was all, I'm trying to think of the right words to say so TikTok doesn't flag me. Just go learn about the Tulsa race riots. I'm just going to say that. But there was an entire community. Black Wall Street was fantastic and was growing and was vibrant, and what they did was horrendous. And what they did was horrendous. There's also a town in Oklahoma called Taft, T-A-F-T, that had a very, very vibrant community there. In fact, there is I can't remember exactly what town it's in, but Route 66 runs through Oklahoma. And there was only one place that anyone that did not look clear could stop safely for the night or safely to get gas. And it's still there. It closed as a gas station, I want to say about 10 or 15 years ago, but it's still there and you can go by and visit. You can go by and visit. But I tried to explain to my kid what a sundown town is. And she said, well, I don't see why that would matter because you grew up here. And I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There are towns, I'm a clear person, but because of my hair and the tattoos and so on, there are small towns in Oklahoma that I don't stop in. I don't stop in. I stopped in one a few years ago and it was bad. Me, a friend of mine that had long pink hair, and a friend of mine that had a Pride backpack on. We stopped to get gas and go pee and get a snack. And it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. So, like, I'm trying to explain that to my daughter, who's very sheltered. And it made me happy when she said, I don't understand that. That made me happy. She couldn't wrap her brain around that. And that made me feel like, as a parent, I did my job. As a parent, I did my job. You know what I mean? Like, she's almost 19 and she can't understand why someone would hate somebody because of the color of their skin. And that makes me happy. That makes me so happy because I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I would much rather us all live together and then I can learn about all of the other cultures and I can eat all the foods because I love the foods. By the way, Pennsylvania, you got to step up your Mexican food game. You got to step up your Mexican food game, Pennsylvania. I've been used to Mexican food and Tex-Mex my entire life. And y'all got to step up your game. Y'all got to step up your game. I'm just saying. It does. It all comes down to a fear of the unknown. I love the unknown. It is all about the kibbles. It is. I'm just saying. They do have good cheesesteaks, I'll admit. And I did find a place close to the church that has fantastic smash burgers. I'm from Oklahoma, where the smash burgers originated. So I'm like super judgy on smash burgers. And this place had really, really good smash burgers. Is rock bottom? The pierogies are good. Yes. Pierogies are my new obsession right now. Pierogies are mine. They're like the European version of empanadas. I just wish there was more inside pierogies than just potatoes. And I know when I mentioned that I wish that there were other things inside them besides potatoes, people looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, but what if though? Like, what if there was like bacon and cheese? And I'm just saying, you're Puerto Rican and your husband is Polish. Can I come eat at your house? Can I come eat at your house? Please? I want to come eat at your house. You just moved to Washington from Texas. Yeah, I know they come in meat and so on. Yeah. I need to get back on these. Binksy, I have you on my list today. What's a smash burger? You're welcome for that rabbit hole. You're welcome for that rabbit hole. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm excited for the old world foods up there. I am. But I'm not gonna lie. When I went into a Mexican restaurant and they didn't have queso, I immediately got sad. Like, I need salsa and queso. I need salsa and queso. Anyway, all right. Bobbie, let me do Bobbie's card read. Yeah, if you guys don't know what smash burgers are, there's your rabbit hole. There's your rabbit hole. Yeah, they didn't have queso. They didn't know what I was asking for. I was like, we can't be friends. We can't be friends. And this was at a Mexican restaurant. It was at a Mexican restaurant. They did have a lot of food for pretty cheap, and their cheese enchiladas were really good. But I'm not judging, but I'm judging. I'm not judging, but I'm judging, you know? All right. Bobbie. I hope Bobbie is still here now that we've gone down the whole rabbit hole of health and then racial tensions and food. Like, I feel like we've covered. I'm glad that you guys all, I'm glad that you guys all still here. Yeah, I think salsa verde is like a Tex-Mex thing. Yeah. Had orange verde sauce. Was it good? Like, that's my question. Like, was it good? I love Abuelo's verde sauce because it's like a sweet spice. I don't know. I am not going to build a Mexican restaurant. I'm sorry. I know my limits. I can't. I'm not going to do that. Quite a roller coaster, but I'm here for it. You're welcome. But yeah, I need to start getting these reads going, or we're going to have to move downstairs because it's already getting hot up here. It was terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, orange verde sauce, that doesn't compute. Queso in a herbal tea bar. How about just a witchy potion bar in a haunted basement? How about that? That I can do. But yeah, I'm not going to open a Mexican restaurant. No. I did not grow up learning those kind of foods. Now, like Irish comfort food, I got you. Irish comfort food, I got you. Midwestern comfort food, y'all, my chicken and dumplings recipe is top notch. I'm just going to say it. I'm still having nightmares. I mean, I would probably have nightmares about orange verde sauce as well. Yeah. Yeah, I would have nightmares about that as well. But yeah, my chicken and dumplings recipe is like top notch. So once upon a time, I worked in publishing. I worked in editorial. Like, I've done a lot of shit in my life. But one of the publishing companies that I worked for, they did all of the college level textbooks. So most of them I didn't really care about, right? However, I got really excited when I was put in the editorial team for the cookbooks, because these are cookbooks that they use at all the colleges, all the culinary schools in the United States, including the Cordon Bleu schools. So I have college level textbooks from the Cordon Bleu schools. So I know how to make like fresh fruit sorbet from actual, like, I don't go buy it in a tub, like I can make it. So that is where my chicken and dumpling recipe comes from. Can you tell that it's noon? All right, Bobbie. Because I already have your cards drawn. And they're right here. Yeah, I'll have to put out, I hate that this keeps doing that. It's pissing me off. I'll have to put out my chicken and dumplings recipe this fall. Yeah. Trying to hang out with Bodie, but now you need to go eat lunch. I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll put my chicken and dumplings recipe out. It's not the square slimy dumplings like everybody's used to. They're like big bready dumplings, like, oh, and you can add all the herbs in them. So if you want a comfort food recipe that your family will love, that you also can put, like, you know, protections in, things like that. I'm just saying. All right. Let me read for Bobbie. Let me read for Bobbie. And then I probably am going to have to gather shit and go downstairs because it's getting hot. Like, there's no telling what the... and I've got my fan going. There's no telling. I'm afraid to see what temperature it is. Maybe we just need to do a kitchen witchery class. Just saying. I haven't done a kitchen witchery class since 2022, actually. All right. You got it. You got it! All right. Ready, Bobbie? So the first two cards I drawed. Oh, Linda is Lindaing. Okay. I read your question, what you have in here, Bobbie. You want to know what's going on. So it's interesting that I felt the need to use the Talisman Oracle first instead of my anchor cards. So the first thing is banish a curse. Okay. And the Golden Empress. I find this, I don't even know what these other cards say yet, but I find this very interesting being that we just talked about you having epilepsy. So, banish a curse and then the Golden Empress, which is literally the best card in the entire deck. This is magnetism and potency and all the good shit. All the good shit. Right? So, before I turn these other cards over, just knowing the energy read I just did and so on, let me say this. When it comes to, and this is for all of you guys that have epilepsy, when it comes to epilepsy, and this is, I'm only speaking for that, I started looking at it like a gift because it is. When you have epilepsy, the parts of your brain that govern your spiritual self, that govern your clairs, that govern gifts, that govern abilities are heightened to a crazy, crazy intense aspect. It is a gift. It's a shitty gift. And it's hard to manage sometimes. But I have found that the days, the nights, etc., when it's raining and my levels are not leveling, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that is when I can connect like this. I can connect like that. And it's insane. It is a gift. 100% a gift. So I know that it sucks, and I know that it makes you sick, and I know that it makes you... There's a lot of things that go with epilepsy, just like with migraines. There's a lot of hidden symptoms that you don't realize are part of it. In fact, migraines and epilepsy go hand in hand. One can trigger the other and vice versa. But it 100% is a gift. So if you start looking at it, the banish a curse is interesting, and I'm going to hold off on saying anything about that yet until I turn these other cards over, because I don't know if this is a way of thinking, you shifting the way that you think, or if this is something different. So I'm going to hold on to the banish a curse card for just a minute. Okay? Passion and happiness. And then over here, you have the ageless, which is healing and graciousness and acceptance, and castaway negativity. I find that interesting that castaway negativity with the snake is over here on this end, and you have banish a curse with the snake over here. And notice the swords, etc. I find that really interesting, and notice that they both have the diamond shape in the back. I think that you and your husband are a power team. Because this is female, this over here is more male, even though it can go both ways. I think that you and your husband are a power team, and the passion and the happiness in the middle. So what is really happening? I find it interesting that this is bringing up your relationship, even though you asked about something else. What is really happening is that I think that your brain is now seeing things differently. I think that your brain is looking at the world around you in a much more unique way that you've never seen it in before. With epilepsy, with having the broken brain aspect of epilepsy, and I'm just going to say it that way. You're going to have heightened senses, heightened abilities, heightened gifts. Everything is going to be heightened. Your clairs are all going to shift and change. So when you ask me what is happening, no, you're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. Everybody that has gone through epileptic seizures or epileptic issues, I'm going to say that, because sometimes people have the pre-ictal phase without ever having seizures. That is an eye-opening road. And epilepsy in general, I want you just to fall down the rabbit hole of learning about the oracles in the Greek temples and the Roman temples. Start there. A lot of people that you guys know and love throughout history that you learned about in art class, in literature, so on, had temporal lobe epilepsy. Van Gogh had temporal lobe epilepsy. So his most famous paintings, the way that he painted, they believe that that was part of his epilepsy. Lewis Carroll, and you guys all know Alice in Wonderland. You all know Alice in Wonderland, whether it's because you read the book, whether it's because you saw the movie as a kid or the new movies with Johnny Depp. Lewis Carroll and Through the Looking Glass. Lewis Carroll had epilepsy. Prince had epilepsy. Like things like that. When you start really falling down the road, the rabbit hole of, I don't want to say, I don't know why I keep saying falling down the road. When you really start falling down the rabbit hole of epilepsy, yeah, you're going to see that you're not crazy. In fact, a lot of researchers have gone back through a lot of the people that are venerated as saints, very high-powered religious leaders throughout time. And I say high-powered not in like an evil way. People that had a very, very deep impact and a lot of religious experiences, they actually believe that they had temporal lobe epilepsy. There's an epileptic seizure called a euphoric seizure where you legitimately think you're talking to God or a goddess or whatever. So fall down that rabbit hole. Fall down that rabbit hole. I do really look at the epileptic personality because since 2014, my life has changed drastically with that. The epileptic personality is interesting. Look that up as well. But start, and I see a couple of you guys. I love that I'm reading for you today, Bobbie, because there are a lot of people in the chat that also are like, whoa, wait, what? Like, I just got diagnosed. Like, don't look at epilepsy as something bad. It sucks. Yes, I have it. I understand. It sucks ass. All the asses that I don't have. But it is 100% a gift. So start looking at that. Start falling down the rabbit hole at how other cultures look at people with epilepsy. And you're going to be majorly surprised. Other cultures do not look at people with epilepsy as a pariah or as some stigmata that they carry with them. They look at them in reverence. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying. You and your husband are a power team. Whatever. I love this aspect of the happiness and the passion in the middle. So the fact that he has cast away negativity on this side and you have banished a curse on this side, and both of them have a snake and both of them have swords and both of them have a diamond on them. I find that really, like, I couldn't have laid these cards out better if I had tried, if I had handpicked them from the deck. My advice is going to be to do a cleanse of your space. And I don't think that you need to get super, super ornate with it. Like, thank you, Finn. It can literally be as easy as salting your floors. I was taught as a kid to sprinkle salt in the carpet, let it sit for a little bit, and then vacuum it up. This was a folk magic thing that my grandma did. Actually, both of my grandmas did that never met each other when they were growing up. But the ants and bugs and stuff like that, it burns their belly, so they hightail it out. It doesn't hurt your dog or your cat, and it cleanses and it connects your house back to the divine. And so if you have like wood floors or whatever, you can actually make a salt mixture to go in your mop bucket, things like that. I literally would advise just doing a cleanse of your space, incense or sage or whatever you use, and rededicating your space back to you in a very, very simplistic way. Like, it's really interesting. I feel like I don't need to be like, go do this and this and this and this. Just a very simplistic way. But the banish a curse, I think that this for you is your mindset. Because a lot of times that was a very traumatic thing that you went through last fall, and you're still going through the aftermath trauma of it. So I would 100% look at your mindset and where your mindset has been with the seizures and with the changes and so on. A lot of times we feel 100% batshit crazy when shit starts to change like this. There are still times in my life I'm like, okay, I am 100% batshit crazy. And that's not always the case. So I would lean on him. I would lean on him because the happiness and the passion in the middle with the two diamonds coming together, like, that makes me super happy. The castaway negativity on his part, I would reassure him that you're fine, that everything is, that you're going to be okay. Because I don't think that the castaway negativity and the curse on your part are anything that somebody else is sending outwardly to you, if that makes sense. I don't think that somebody is like putting workings on you. I think that this is because when your spouse gets diagnosed with something, that is, you suddenly worry. You suddenly worry, like that's an intense thing to have to deal with. And for him to have to rush you to the hospital and so on, that's a lot of worry. That's a lot of intense anxiety. So reassuring him that you're okay. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Reassure him that you're okay. If he's open to it, talk to him about like, hey, I've been having some interesting dreams. Start there, because everybody knows about prophetic dreams. But start letting him in, like, I'm seeing auras or things like that. Start letting him in, because I think that the two of you discussing these things are going to just build this marriage even stronger. I don't think you're crazy at all. I mean, from one epileptic to another, I don't think you're crazy at all. I don't. I know how my shit has changed. And I think that you forcibly became a metahuman, whether you wanted to or not. I'm just saying. He's always the one you talked about it. Good. I would continue talking to him. I would continue reassuring him that, that you're okay, that you're solid, and that you're not going anywhere. Because I think that that's what this is talking about, is he's worried about you. Which, you're never going to be able to get him to not worry about you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Does that make sense, Bobbie? I hope that's what you needed to know. But, no, you're not crazy. And the answer to your question is, yes, it's really happening. There are days that I see weird shadows and I have to call my best friend and be like, yeah. If the thing in your house hates you, ask it. A lot of times when you are going through things like that, especially with epilepsy, you're going to travel a lot more in your dreams than you ever did before, which means you could possibly bring something back. I'm just saying. You catch it on the security cameras. You need to have somebody come and cleanse your house. because that's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool at all. I would advise having somebody come and cleanse your house. I would. Like physically come cleanse your house. Or bless your house, either one. These are brand new glasses and they're already like just gunked all the way up. Send me, I don't want you to give this out on here, but send me a message of where you live and let me see if I can find somebody. Let me see if I can help you. But send me a message of where you live. People don't need to know. People don't need to know. You know what I mean? Like they don't need to know. You can't find the boot camp to register. I'm sure one of the girls can send it to you, Samantha. Let's see here. Let's see. It won't. I hate this. It won't let me do my shit anymore. You're so welcome. Yeah, Linda be lending. So we've had a lot of people ask about the free classes. I'm going to have them up for free on TikTok, probably on YouTube as well, because those have to be added in. But it's just going to be that mentorship class. There will be a whole, like I'll have to get off of that live and do a sec. Well, actually I won't. I can just redo the YouTube. But it's just that first class. So it's not the entire, program, because we've had some people ask about it. So, all right. Valerie H. Let me get through these energy readings and then we're going to take the cards and go downstairs because it's gross up here. My little Zeusy dog going to get too hot up here. And then I got to call again and have them be like, hey, I can't even work in my fucking office because it's 85 degrees up here. All right, Valerie. You're like super intense colors like red, purple, green. And they're like really deep jewel tones. Like red is like ruby red. And that purple is like, deep, deep, dark amethyst. And then that green is like, they look like jewels. I'm not going to lie. It's like a really dark emerald color. So that tells me that you're really stressed out because of the richness of the color, the darkness of the color. And they all match. Like one's not like pale and then the other one's deep. They all match. So it tells me that you're really, really stressed out right now. So I'm sorry for that. The red, let's start there. That red, that deep, deep ruby red, that's like an intensity that I think scares you. Red is a color of not sitting still. Red is a color of movement. Red is a color of passion, of drive, of energy. But when it gets to that intensity, that deep ruby red color like that, it starts to, I'm gonna describe it this way. When you're watching like a vampire movie, like Bram Stoker's Dracula was a good one, and you see the richness of the tapestries and the artwork and the furniture in the castle, right? And you think, oh my God, that is so cool, and also looks a little evil at the same time. So it looks cool, but it is scary at the same time. Do you know what I'm talking about? That is what these colors kind of represent. So this red, that drive is amazing. That fire, that passion is amazing. But it's also an intensity that it's a little terrifying. So a lot of people around you are probably asking you, are you okay? How you doing? Etc. And you're fine, but they are feeling this intensity from you. And I think that it's starting to bother you as well. But you're chalking it up to stress, and that's not the case. The purple is sovereignty. The purple is your own personal sovereignty and boundaries, and I am not going to tell you to change that at all. In fact, you keep that deep, rich, purple, sovereign color right there, because that, I don't think that has always been there. And I think that that is you now, like, absolutely not. You want to fuck around to get cut off. Like, this is an absolutely, I'm going to cut the, you know what I mean? Like, don't ever, ever, ever stop utilizing that sovereign color. I think it's fantastic. I think it's glorious, and don't stop. The green, the emerald green like that, that is you coming into some unique gifts. I think that you are starting to develop some interesting clairs that they've always been there, but I don't think they've been to this intensity. And so it's starting to really cause you to look at things in a very multifaceted level. And by doing that, it's making these clairs even stronger. So like the clairs get stronger, so you start to utilize them and look at them, and then it's like this, like they're just doing this. My only advice is going to be, take a breath, like step back and take a breath for a couple of days and then get back on it. You know, like let your physical self adjust to the clairs, because the clairs they're energy consuming. They really are. Just like you go to work and you work in front of a computer all day, and maybe you don't even talk to a single person. You just are working on projects and reports and documents and stuff. That will wear you out, and people don't understand. They're like, oh, well, you didn't do anything physical. No, but you did with your brain. The clairs are the same way. So if you're utilizing your clairs way too much, then the problem is that you can burn out, if that makes sense. You can burn out, if that makes sense. So be careful with that red. Be careful with that intensity getting too deep. I would have a staycation if you can. Take the next day off that you have. Turn your phone off. Like, tell everybody that, you're having a staycation. You're going to sleep in. You're going to whatever. Turn your phone off. Don't go out with a bunch of people. Don't have people over. Like, just sit and breathe. And every time your gifts or abilities or stress pops up, you need to be like, nope, absolutely not. And you need to like push it out of the way. Does that make sense? Misty, what's up with the Misty today? By the way, while Misty's here, I just want to say this, because I know that some people's be watching. Misty and I talk. Like, she has my phone number, I have her phone number, like my personal phone number. So I got a message yesterday, Misty, and I'm not going to out this person, but I haven't had a chance to message you yet. The girls brought it to my attention. Misty knows her shit. I know my shit. And we talk about shit. Misty has scary ingredients. I have scary ingredients. And we talk about shit and maybe, swap shit. So don't ever come at me or my girls and threaten me with another creator. I will message you here in a minute, Misty. Don't ever come at me like that. Don't ever come at my girls like that, because I'm sick of it. Normally I would ignore that shit because whatever, fuck off. But don't ever come at me like that. Don't ever come at me like that. Don't ever threaten me with another creator or whatever. I don't know if it's who you think it is, but it's not the same person you've had problems with. But it pissed me straight the fuck off. I had to walk away from my computer last night. Kind of in a roundabout way, but a roundabout but direct way. Let me say it that way. Like, I know in my time on TikTok, I've had a lot of people want me to do workings against other practitioners, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Because what that tells me, if you come to me or you threaten me that you're going to go to another practitioner, bitch, go. Go. What that tells me is you have probably fucked that creator up. You have fucked them over. And now you want another creator to do a working. Oh, okay. Maybe so, because I told this person that they could have their money back. And we're just going to leave it at that. So it might be the same person. But it flat pissed me off. It flat pissed me off. I love that, Bergie. Yeah, I send people to Misty. She sends people to me. Like, yeah. So that pissed me off. That pissed me off. And the thing is, like, I understood why she was mad to begin with. I do. I really do. For those of you guys, let me explain the situation. So the artwork on my hands, okay? I used to do those for people. I did. And I love doing them. Because I take your birth date, I take your birth chart, and I make you this gorgeous art piece that you can use as a tattoo or just hang up or whatever. They take me over an hour a piece. They take me over an hour a piece. Because I have to pull your birth chart, I have to look at the delineation graph, I have to plot that, I have to create the circles. I do these by hand. I don't digitally do them. I don't just make one and then photocopy it and be like, here's yours, and everybody has the same one. I do them by hand. I am a trained artist. I do them by hand. Last fall, I did an event because I only do them a couple times a year because I end up selling a lot of them and they take me a while to do them. So let's say for one full week, I sat, that is 30 hours plus of doing this artwork. So I sat and I did these. And the person that I had doing shipping for me was supposed to have sent them out. Not only did they not get sent out, but I have no idea what the fuck happened to them. I can't find them. I have gone through every box, every bag, all the paperwork, all the files. They're gone, which means I get to now start over. And I'm pissed about it. And it is why I have not offered them again. And why I probably will not offer them again for a while, or they're going to have to be a lot more. Because I only charge like 50 or 60 bucks for them, and you get a full-on fucking art piece on canvas paper. Like, I don't use cheap ingredients either. So I have been mad. I have been flat out angry. I was hurt at first, and I was mad, and I went back to being hurt, and I'm just angry. So I do 100% understand being mad that you haven't got that. I get it. I'd be mad too. I get it. And so be mad at me because it's me. I'm mad. Knowing that with everything I have going on, I also now have to sit and redo every single one of these. I'm mad. So I get it. But when you come at me the way that this person came at me in the private messages, I don't want to help you anymore. I don't want to help you anymore. It tells me that there's a reason that I didn't get yours to you. Does that make sense? It tells me that there's a reason. There's a lot of times when I've had somebody that I have either had an order for, I've done artwork for, I've had an appointment, and something happens, and every single time, you know what I mean? Every single time, either you can't make the appointment or I can't make the appointment. That tells me that spirit is like, no. So yeah. And that pisses me off too. Like there were people that when Witchfoot was doing a lot of like workings for people, they would like fuck her over and then they would come over to me to do workings against. I had one person that tried to get me 3 different times to do a working, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Even if I didn't agree with her all the time, but I respected her because she knew her shit. and we're mutuals, you know, like I'm not going to do that. So what you just told me is that you fucked her over repeatedly and now you want somebody else to do something like, no, bitch, nah. No, bitch, nah. No. So yeah, don't come at me like that. Don't come at me like that. In fact, anybody that wants me to do a working against another practitioner, no, miss me with all of that. There are other unscrupulous practitioners out there that will take your money, but it won't be me. It won't be me. You know what I mean? It won't be me. Yeah, we should talk. We should talk because my girls were really, really pissed about the message that I got, and I should probably call you and just read it to you. Yeah. I should just send it to you and read it to you. But I really think it's time that a lot of us witchy creators start actually talking to each other about this, because I know over the last 5 years, there's a lot of people that have tried to work us against each other on purpose. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of people that they will go to one person and they will order, or they will have readings or whatever, and then they will scam that person. They will go and do a charge back on like 5 or 6 things and say it was fraud, and then they'll move on to the other person, and then they'll move on to the other person, and then they'll move on to the other person. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. It's just like in bail bonds. Like my ex-husband and I used to own a bail bonds business. So you get out on bond with one place and you fuck them over, so they're not going to bail you out again. So you go somewhere else, and then you fuck them over and you go somewhere else. Like, scammy people do scammy shit. You know what I mean? They do scammy shit. That's what happens. So that's what happens. So yeah. I just gotta, I got an idea bacon. Yep. All right. I had to get my ass in gear because, yeah. Because, yeah. All right. Sammy. Let me do Sammy's reading. Let me do Sammy and Joanne's energy reads. Who else do I have energy read for? Tammy G. Let me do these energy reads, and then we will go downstairs where it's cool. Out of curiosity, I'm gonna go see what the temperature is up here. Oh, I'm sorry, Zeus's. I didn't mean to scare you. It better not be that hot. 81. It's 81. This is bullshit, Zeus Tacules. Yeah, it is 81 degrees up here, and it's noon, which means it's gonna be 90 up here later. God damn it! Like, I have shit to do. I have shit to do. My office is upstairs. My computers, my shipping, everything is upstairs. I'm not a happy bitch right now. I'm not a happy bitch right now. No, I rent this house, and the maintenance guy, the landlord's maintenance guy, it's hot and everybody's AC is broken and they can't get out here for a couple days. It is hot as F outside. So yeah. Oh, I love you, Jessica. No, I haven't eaten yet. So I'll tell you what. I said I was going to do those 3, but let me get off of here, go downstairs where it's cooler, and y'all can we'll read from Bobbie's kitchen. Because it's cooler down there. It's not 80 degrees inside. Oh, no, Samantha, that's bullshit, too. Where are you at, girl? I bet I could go outside and it would be cooler than it is up here. So, yeah, Florida. Yeah, let me do this. Let me go downstairs. I'll take the Zeus's downstairs. He's laying there. He's up here with Mom. So, and then I'll be back on. Give me about 20 minutes because I want to finish these today. So that way you guys have your reads. So, yeah. All right. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Well, go get some food. Go potty. Go get some food. This is intermission. Misty, I'm going to message you.